Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half acre homestead with a late Sunday night tea break, and that's why my cup is so small. But then there's sometimes when China just makes a cup of tea taste better, right? So I really appreciate everybody's patience with my lack of videos. There have been a couple of people, 2 or 3 have been impatient with my live streams because I have a tendency to not finish a sentence because I'm looking at chat and I'm talking directly to people. And, you know, I had a couple of comments like, well, you really liked your videos until you started doing live streams and then you never finish a sentence and you start talking to people and yada, 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 yada. Well, all I can say is don't watch the live streams and don't watch the replays of the live streams. I do these tea breaks for those people. I do them for everybody, but if you don't want to watch a live stream because it irritates you, then don't watch it. It's okay, right? But I do appreciate all the patience you guys have. Yeah, I know my hair's driving me nuts. I really need it cut. I really do appreciate all the patience you guys have had with my time off in January. I'm starting to get into the groove again of getting things done, but I've got another quilt to make. Now, I've only got 4 blocks left out of 63 to quilt on that baby quilt. So I'll have that quilted tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to go on from there with the binding and all that stuff. And I hope you folks are ready for another quilt project for Mikey. It's going to be similar in style to the last wedding quilt I made because they're brothers. There's 3 brothers, Aaron, Mikey, and Andrew. Aaron got the first wedding quilt, and it was in the similar style to Andrew's, except the receding white squares or light colored squares were not 2-inch squares. They were blocks of 4 1-inch squares. And in that way they look really similar because they're receding diamond shapes. I'm going to go in a different direction slightly for Mikey's, but Andrew and Jackie's quilt was a wedding quilt, and it was done with earth tones and all that stuff. But the history quilt, the familial history quilt, is actually going to their baby, which is the baby quilt I've been working on. Well, if you remember I don't know if you saw my live stream, I bought this blueberry fabric for the eldest nephew's wedding. Oh my gosh. Probably 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. Wow. Been that long. And then I put some in his youngest brother, Andrew. I put some in the baby's quilt, Andrew and Jackie's baby. So Mikey's quilt, like Aaron's, is going to be a familial history quilt, which means I'm going to get to use this fabric that I used in Andrew and Jackie's baby quilt and in Aaron's quilt is going into Mikey and Amanda's quilt. Don't expect you to remember all these names or these people, but I want to do a similar quilt, but I want to use, I want to make it a true history, familial history scrap quilt. And I have lots of these left over from Andrew and Jackie's quilt. Now, the cool thing about that is I have a lot, for starters. The thing was, as I was going to make Andrew and Jackie's a king-size quilt, and it turned out I couldn't because I didn't have, at the time, the Grace quilting frame. So I made too many blocks, way too many blocks. Like, look at this. But the beauty of that is in this new quilt, I can use up these blocks, plus make some new ones with with family fabric that has history. And voila! Now it's not going to be the same as it's not going to be the same quilt as Andrew's, and it's not going to be the same quilt as Aaron's, but it's going to be similar because they're three brothers and they all need to kind of have similar quilts, right? So I hope you gentlemen have not been bored with my quilt talk. I ordered some fabric for Mikey and Amanda's quilt online today, and I was really upset after I ordered it because some of the fabrics said this will be sold in quarter meter lengths only, like quarter meter lengths. This price is for quarter meters. Since when did they start selling things by the quarter meter? Because nobody wants to pay $50 for 1 meter of fabric. So it looks better when it says $7.50. And then in the fine print it says quarter meter. So I thought I was spending like $50, $52 on 4 meters of fabric because I was going to use it for the backing of Mikey's quilt. It had some really beautiful inspirational writing on it. I ended up paying $52 for 1 meter of fabric. Not too thrilled about when they changed the rules on how you know, maybe it's because the fabric was 108 inches wide, but that's besides the point, okay? I was shopping in meters, not quarter meters. My mistake. Live and learn. Then get loves when you crap yourself, right? So crap yourself with mistakes, I mean. So that's, I've decided to put that into the front of the quilt because I really do like the fabric and it is going to fit in the new design that I came up with. So it was kind of a happy accident, sort of. If you can call paying, you know, 4 times what you expected to pay for a meter of fabric a happy accident, then we'll go with it. We'll go with it. I can't remember if I mentioned this already about the live streaming. I probably did, so I'm not going to say it again. I'm just going to say, if you don't like my live streams because I can't focus directly on the camera and ignore the people that are talking to me live, then just don't watch it and wait for a tea break. I watched a really funny movie last night. Howie wasn't in the mood to watch a movie, and he had a program he wanted to watch, so he went to the bedroom to watch his program, and I watched because I saw it on Netflix, and he was out working in the garage to start with. Well, the garage, the shop, the barn, whatever it is. Who knows what it'll be next year, right? But anyway, he was at the shop, so I started watching this movie, and it's called Book Club, and it's on Netflix. Now, it's a pretty predictable movie, and it's a pretty standard framework for the movie, okay? I mean, it's pretty predictable. But the acting in it was fabulous. I had a blast. Now, guys, this could be considered a chick flick. But it has an all-star cast. Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Craig T. Nelson, Richard Dreyfuss, Don Johnson, and some hot Italian-looking kind of dude. I know him from somewhere. I just can't remember his name. And what it's about these 4 women who have been best friends all their lives because they've had a book club. And basically, they would rotate who gets to choose the book each month. And then they would meet and drink wine and talk about the books. Well, somebody introduced the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy to the book club. And these women are, 20 years my senior, and they're starting to read this book, and they're realizing there's a lot of things in their lives that they've just settled for. And it stirs up a lot of stuff. It's really a riot. There is one scene with Candice Bergen and Richard Dreyfuss that I had to stop and watch it and rewind it. And that's how old I am. I rewind. I had to stop and go back and watch it 3 times because I was laughing so hard I couldn't see the clip. Okay? Now that's just me. But I'm going to tell you, this one scene with Candice Bergen and Richard Dreyfuss, they must have had a blast. They must have had a blast. And Craig T. Nelson and Mary Steenburgen, oh my God. Craig T. Nelson steals the movie in a lot of ways. So, ladies, get out your teapot and your quilting and your or whatever and put on Netflix and watch Book Club. I mean, personally, I read or tried to read 50 Shades of Grey, but it was giving me nightmares. Okay, I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't like a lot of the inappropriate stuff, but there was some pretty hot stuff too. But I never finished the book. I might have to. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I was going to talk about, except for thank you for your patience for me not putting up videos. Excuse me. Just so everyone knows, I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke medication, and I've been quilting straight every day. So, Papa's got the card primer. He's going to share a lot of, probably talk about a lot of the stuff that he's done, but it's in primer. All the body work is done. It's getting very exciting. It's getting very exciting. And I know there's some people who think we're turning into a racing channel. We're not. We've always been a shooting match of all different things. You guys have just been evolving with us as we grow, right? And I mean, for those people who are here because of us, because they like us and they can identify with us and have become part of the family, well, they're still with us, right? I mean, it's okay if you don't want to watch our racing car videos. It's okay if you don't want to watch the live streams. It's okay if you don't want to watch me quilt. There's going to be somebody in my YouTube family, our YouTube family, that's going to want to see what we're up to. That's pretty much all our half-acre homestead is. All right, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead, or Life with the Wolfies, or whatever you want to call it. Saying good night, God bless. Hopefully, what's tomorrow, Monday? So hopefully by Tuesday we will be finishing up the baby quilt. All right, take care. God bless.